This is Kirby's Kickoff. We're powered by Frederick County Parks and Recreation. So glad that you're with us. We're catching up with the Skyline Hawks and head coach Heath Gilbert. The Hawks falling to the Kettle Run Cougars in the Region 3B title game. Coach Gilbert, thanks as always for your time. Obviously, I know not the way you and the team wanted to end the season, falling to Kettle Run, but the culmination of this season, dropping the first three games to quality opponents and then just going on a huge winning streak into the playoffs, and in the playoffs defeating Meridian, and then an overtime win over Culpeper County. It just, in my mind, it seemed like a very magical season with a lot of positives. What can you take out of just this season in general that really impressed you and the coaching staff?
Well, I think it was exciting, that run that you're talking about, and the key was our kids didn't quit on themselves early on. It was tough being 0-3, and we told them to stay in the fight, keep doing what we're doing in practice. We're doing the right things, trust the process, and things started to turn around for us. And we had to overcome a lot in the playoffs, especially the last two games with the amount of penalties that we had in front of us, and with a good opponent like Kettle Run. We had three crucial mistakes, I felt like, and then you can't do that if you expect to beat a team like Kettle Run. But if we don't make those mistakes, the game would have been so much closer in the fourth quarter. But we got to give those kids their credit. A big punt return, we were in position actually to make the tackle, and he shook us, and they got a big return. And there were some other things that went on, but again, credit to Kettle Run, but our kids we're good enough to win the football game, but we didn't make the critical plays when we needed to.
And just keeping on the culmination of the season, it seemed like there were playmakers on both sides of the football. Obviously, you have Zayden Birch, you have Deshaun Haley at quarterback, Andre Ford. You have a lot of players that were able to just step up and make huge plays throughout the course of the season. What can you say about just everybody on the team, going back to what you were saying about they didn't quit losing the first three. They kept sticking to the process, doing what needed to be done, and just seeing the growth and the progress and the success of some of your athletes individually to make some of those big plays throughout the course of this season.
It's a tribute to their character, because it's easy if you are weak-minded and you didn't put the work in. A lot of times, someone that just shows up in August, they don't put the work in throughout January or the spring, and in the summertime, it's easy for them to turn their back. Well, most of our guys are here. A guy that you're talking about that you didn't mention, that gets overlooked is like Jonathan Leach. His work ethic is unreal, is unmatched, and he made two critical 2-point conversion tackles, one against Central and one at, of course, in the game against Culpeper. What he did on that play to spring it to Burks, and then he led our team with 91 tackles. So you're right, we had a lot of kids that contributed to our success, and I can't be more proud of these boys for not quitting, staying in the fight, and because they did that, they were rewarded with an exciting run. We won 9 games in a row, and they know how close we were in that Kettle Run game. There's been times where we haven't, they deserve to be on the field with them, but we were certainly belonged on Friday night. And I appreciate that our guys stayed in the fight, like I said, and they kept competing and gave us an opportunity to possibly win our first regional final.
And yeah, sticking one more time with that, the offensive and defensive line, again, it seems like people sort of overlook that, but giving flowers to the offensive line who've created holes for Zayden to just run wild all season long, and his accolades, obviously, all region player nomination, and just the defensive line, as you mentioned, stepping up, like you said, that player making big 2-point conversion, saving tackles. How huge was that aspect of the game during this winning streak as well?
Well, one of the keys to that is I think my first times in my career that we've had 5 offensive line starters and 4 defensive line starters that are not the same guys. So that depth was critical for being tough in the fourth quarter when you need to make those big time plays to be able to advance. So having more guys, quality guys, was huge for us. And like I said, I get to coach those guys. They're special in my heart. And yeah, we say it all the time. If we don't have the time and don't give our guys the time and space, it doesn't matter how talented you are, they can't get it done. So being strong in the trenches is critical. And what's a positive is we have a lot of those guys returning for another run next year, and we have to build on that. Now, the thing is, we don't have quite as many going both ways, so that's our job to develop a young guy or maybe recruit somebody in so we can fill those ranks back out so we can have five offensive line guys and four defensive line guys and not be the same starter.
You mentioned the returners coming back, as you alluded to, maybe another potential run. What do you want them to take out of the region final game and the experience they had against Kettle Run, despite the result on the scoreboard? Because I know the saying, you learn more from a loss than you do a win. What do you really want them to sort of take out of that and maybe generate into next season to maybe make it even a step further?
Well, I think it shows that, what we can do if we prepare the right way. So continue to do that. And then a big critical part of that game was our special teams. So having the best guys possible throughout we're not a deep team. We don't have a ton of guys. So we can't play every starter on all of our special teams. So the guys in those key special team roles, those are important roles, and not to be like, oh, I'm just a special team guy. No, that made a difference. If we were better on our special teams, we might be in the state finals right now, or other state tournament. But it's just how critical that part of the game is as well.
So some history as well, Coach. I know in the time that Skyline High School has been in existence, and you being the head coach of this team, I saw the videos circulating on social media. Athletic director Mr. Cup with the region runner-up trophy, saying basically that this has never been won before in the history. And I know he alluded to it's a disappointment not to see the bigger trophy come home with you all, but in the same token, making history in a sense with getting to the big game, the region game, obviously the first time in school history. What did that mean to sort of set some history this season as well?
It is a step, and these boys deserve to leave a mark. If we didn't make it to that game, even though this was a really good team, you would look up in the rafters and there's no mark. They deserve to have their 2025 up on that banner, and I appreciate that. And this is a stepping stone. This is what everyone coming back. You need to look at that, remember what that felt like, and make that motivation to, when it comes to time to workouts, we're not going to skip it. We're going to be there. We're going to get out of the bed. The bed's not going to win. We're going to get up and we're going to work and we're going to compete and we're going to get better. So that's the whole mindset that we're taking into this offseason starting on January 12th.
I know players are probably itching to get back into the weight room, whatever your off-season program is like. Just take us through what the off-season looks like, how you get the guys back in weight room, field work. What's that like? Because I know a lot of teams get back into it very early to prepare for the next season, which will come just like in a snap of a finger.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have three phases. Our first is the winter phase. It's 4 days a week. We go Monday through Thursday. We're going to lift weights after school. It's going to be a 6 week program. Then we'll have a dead period that's mandatory by the VHSL. Then the springtime hits. That's when we start to do 1 week a day out on the field. Whenever soccer has a game, we have access to a field. So that kind of varies for us. When we get to be out on the field, but we'll have 1 day on the field to get to work on our skills, and we really focus on our 7-on-7 stuff because we get into many of those tournaments as possible, and we think that's really, really critical for our kids to work on their pass drops and their passing concepts and all those things and working together and having fun. 7-on-7 is a lot of fun. We enjoy that. So the spring continues again 4 days a week at least, unless there's a 7-on-7 tournament, sometimes five. We start those in April, and then when the summer hits, we go in the morning. We go from 7:30 to 9:30, 4 days a week, and it's 3 days of lifting and it's a 1 day of full practice. Basically, we do an offensive practice, our day one practice install. We do that all summer long. We film it so we can use that to teach, and it leads right into the season. So we take time off when the dead periods come. Otherwise, we're in here working.
And how huge is it? I know it's probably too early to say, yeah, but a lot of returners coming back. How do you like the squad that you have coming back with all the returners, and what really excites you from that aspect?
Like I alluded to earlier, we have guys up in the trenches. You have guys in the trenches. You have a chance, an opportunity to be good. And we also have a pretty darn good running back coming back as well. We have some young skills that we're excited about, and just a mix of guys. If we're willing to work and willing to put the time in, we can be right back to where we are. We won 8 games 2 years ago. We won 9 this year. We want 10 or more this next season. We want a chance to go to that state tournament. So that's our mindset. That's how we're gonna attack this off season. We're gonna get in the hallways, recruit some more kids to get out. We have a wish list. We already started with myself and the guys who we need to try to get out. So that's a part of it too, to kind of fill in some of the ranks. And we have some athletes that are walking around that can help us in the school. So we're gonna get after those guys and get them out.
After losing the first three, the Skyline Hawks go on a massive winning streak into the playoffs, defeating Meridian, defeating Culpeper County in overtime, falling to Kettle Run in the Region 3B final. But make no mistake, a lot of history made throughout the course of this season for the Skyline Hawks. Always a pleasure to be joined week in and week out by the head coach of the Skyline Hawks, Heath Gilbert, right here on Kirby's Kickoff. Coach, certainly appreciate the access and the time all season long. Wishing you all the best this off season, and looking forward to future conversations come next season.
Yes, sir. No problem. And go Hawks.